Proposition 19 and how it affects families who inherit a home. Hello, everybody. My name is Roxanne Govari with Pemberley Realty here in San Diego, California, along with my partner, Santiago Guerin.
Hello, everyone. Looking forward to this topic. I mean, very important to know what Proposition 19 is and, ready to learn a little bit more myself too.
How does it affect everybody, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
So it used to be that we had Proposition 13, where you would pay property taxes based on 1.25% of purchase price of the home. And then that price, that increase would be 3 to 5% per year on the base of what you had paid for the property. So if you bought a property for, let's see, if you bought a property for 100,000, then times 3%, so $100,000 times 1.25%. So that would have been 1250 times 3%. That would be 3750. That would be increased every year and for perpetuity, pretty much for as long as you lived in the house and for as long as you kept the house and you didn't sell it. And if the property and if you died and then your heirs would inherit the house, as long as your heirs were your children or related to you, then they would also inherit that property tax base, so the taxes would not go up, and they would also have to live in the house. So this is the whole thing about this. This is that we're dealing with primary residence, and we're dealing with heirs also using the house as their primary residence.
So you're saying that they have to move into that home to be able to inherit that, tax exempt. Let's say, what if you live in Texas and your parents die here in San Diego? You have your whole life already set up in Texas. What can you do? Like, are you missing out?
You have to move to San Diego and live in the home. Well, okay, let me change that because
Is there a way
Proposition
to
19
Yeah.
actually changed Proposition 13.
Okay.
Okay, so the way that Proposition 19 changed Proposition 13 is that it actually put a cap on it.
Okay.
And the cap was $1 million for that first year, and now it's at $1,044,586. So, basically almost $1,050,000 now. And if it's higher than that, then the taxes are going to be higher than that. So a little bit of a change, but the principal rule still remains the same, that primary residence for the parents, primary residence for the heirs. You cannot use this you can't inherit the property and then decide, like you said, kids are living in Texas, parents lived in San Diego, parents pass away, kids inherit the house, and then they want to rent it, and now their tax base goes up because they're not using it as an owner-occupied house.
I see. So if you were in that scenario, what would you do if you were the kid living in Texas?
I would sell the house.
Yeah,
I would sell the house because here's the other part of this. The other part of this is we've been talking about capital gains taxes, right? And we're talking about capital gains taxes and the fact that properties have appreciated a lot and the capital gains basis has not gone up. So if you're selling a house while you're alive and your house has appreciated by a lot, now you're paying a whole lot of capital gains. Like, for example, same scenario, $100,000 of you bought the house for $100,000. Now your house is worth $1 million, And so you have, and let's say you spent, $100,000 more into the house. So you're into the house for 200,000, right? You're into the house for $200,000, and now the house is worth $1 million. So um, um, so you have, and then your husband and wife, so you're a married couple. So your exception is $500,000. So that bumps you up to 700,000. Let's say you have closing costs for another 50,000. So that's 750, right? You still have $250,000 that is remaining that you have to pay capital gains on.
Yeah.
Right? If you sell it. But if you keep it until you die, then your kids inherit that house. They have up to 10 million, I believe, in no inheritance taxes. So if your house is $1 million and they inherit, and the inheritance tax is up to 10 million, then they're not going to pay any taxes on that $250,000
when they sell.
When they sell.
Correct. And do you have a time frame for that to make that sell? Or, let's say they inherit it, they wait 2 or 3 years, would it still be exempt, or is there a time limit?
That's a very good question. That is one that I am not 100% sure of.
Okay.
But that's a good question. We need to bring one of our accountant friends as one of our speakers and ask them that question of, do you have to sell that property right away, or can you wait a couple of years before you sell?
Yeah.
That's a very good question for an accountant. But now going back to Proposition 19, that's also the other thing of, don't confuse property taxes with capital gains taxes, right? Property taxes are repeated every year on the property, and capital gains taxes is a one-time tax that you pay when you sell the property, and you pay it on the gains and the profits that you make off of the house.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's go back to this scenario of Prop 19, right? You inherit the property from your parents. The house is worth $2 million, right? And so up to $1,044,000 is exempt, but the property is now worth $2 million. So now you have another $1 million that you have to your taxes are going to be readjusted to the new tax rate. So and new tax rate being 1.25%. So if let's say by this old scenario that we said, that the house was $100,000 and now it's $1 million, right? So your tax base was $1,250, right?
Yeah.
And for the first million, and for the second million, now your taxes are $12,500. So times 1.25%. So 12,500 plus 1250. So now your new tax rate is going to be 10,000 or 13,750 for a house that is worth $2 million.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it still is not as bad as if you were to buy a $2 million $2 million house, because then your taxes would be $25,000 per year. So that's how Prop 19 changed Prop 13.
Yeah. And then, I mean, now another scenario. I'm trying to think of scenarios here. Let's say multiple siblings inherit a home.
Right.
And they all disagree about whether renting, living in it, or selling it? You know, what's kind of like the best way to go about that?
If you ask me, when you have that kind of a situation, you sell.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, you have a unique situation where you are not paying any taxes.
Yeah.
So you sell. And this is
And basically, like, you know, split the money, you
you
know,
split
between.
money and you go about. Now there's a difference between the home, an owner occupied home versus a investment property,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, like what's the difference if you inherit a home that's being rented by a tenant or inherit the home that your parents were living in?
It does not have this advantage of Prop 19.
It's only if it was owner occupied when it was inherited, right? Okay.
Right. Now, in a case, but despite that, if you ask me, I would keep the rental property even though your tax base is going up,
Mm-hmm.
but I would sell the family home even though you're saving on the taxes.
I see.
And the reason why I'm saying that is because it's not just about the money, it's also about the emotional weight that the family home puts on everybody. Because if one of the siblings lives in it and the other one doesn't, then there's always this feeling of, oh, you're taking on more than I am, and you're getting a benefit a lot more than I have, or things of that sort.
Mm-hmm.
So if you sell and if you sell the property, then it becomes just money, and then you can split evenly between all the siblings, and everybody's going to be everyone's going to feel that they've equally benefited, and there's no hard feelings between siblings.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's a different scenario, in my opinion, with investment property. Because if you think about it, in investment property, the emotional attachment is not necessarily there.
Mm-hmm.
And you can always keep the property and keep it under management, and keep collecting on the revenue that the property brings, and you can and you can split the revenue, however many ways that you have to split it. And in that case, you're not going to create as much drama,
Mm-hmm.
as much disagreement, and everybody benefits from keeping that type of wealth and that type of property. And you split the profits, and also manage the property as a community property, sort of. Everybody, okay, if there are maintenance issues that need to happen, whatever needs to happen, you come up with the solution together, and you solve the problem together.
Yeah. Makes sense. And let's say for the audience out there, let's say they inherit a home today. What are the first steps that you would kind of advise? Or let's say you inherit a home today. What are the first steps that you're taking? How are you gonna go? You know,
First
what's your
things
thought
first,
process? Yeah.
I would get an appraisal.
Okay.
Establish the value at the time of death,
Okay.
because you get a step up basis at that point, meaning that whatever the property was worth before, now you want to know how much is the property worth now, because that's going to help with your capital gains. You want to know how much the value of the property is at the time of the previous owner's death.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing that I would do. Second thing is to find out how the property was held. Was it held in a trust? Was it held in the person's name? and make sure that it's properly transferred over to the new heirs. So that would be the second thing that I would do. What was the third thing?
Just to make sure that because if it's just held by an individual, then you have to go through a whole probate situation, right? If it's you don't have a trust set up.
If you don't have a trust set up, then yeah, you have another layer of complication, and another layer of complication because you can't actually turn around and sell that property.
Yeah.
It has to go through probate before you get the authority to sell that property.
Yeah.
And so I guess you could rent it in the meantime until you have the authority to sell, or then decide what you want to do. So you're right. That would be something. Thank you, Alfredo. Thank you for joining us and for your comment. Let us know if you have any questions that we can answer. So yeah, going back to probate. Now, here's another incident that comes up, that if you love your kids or whoever it is that's going to inherit your property, you're going to set up a trust.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Why do you think?
I mean, just so that they don't have to go through the probate process, which can take a very long time. But yeah, I mean,
not only that, you have to pay an attorney to basically take you through the probate process, and that cost is not cheap. You have to pay the court to administer the probate for you, and that cost is not cheap. And also the cost of sitting and waiting in limbo until probate is concluded, that also is not cheap. And we're not talking about like 10 days, 20 days, 30 days. We're talking about 12 months.
Yeah.
So that's a long time to sit and wait to figure out how you can get access to your assets or your inherited assets.
Yeah.
So not exactly Prop 19 related, but it's stuff that definitely affects Prop 19 and affects your decision and what your abilities are to move forward to what you want to do.
So first, get the appraisal to make sure that it's what's the title under on the trust, if it's under trust, individual, and then after that,
make sure to properly transfer the property to the new heirs.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you decide to sell the property, then you don't really need to do that. But if you decide to keep the property cannot remain under the deceased person's information. You need to transfer the property over to the new whoever the heir is, or siblings. If it's more than one person, then again, trust is the best vehicle, and your trust attorney is your best friend.
Yeah.
Now,
and then of course, I think, and then if they're planning on selling, reach out to a realtor, right?
That's right. And we are here. We would love to help with that type of information, that type of a sale.
Yeah.
Because when you're dealing with a property like that, there's a lot of nuances. It's not. There are different types of sales that happen, and each one needs expertise, right? When you're dealing with a home, an inherited home, the set of skill sets that you need are different than, let's say, when you're dealing with a move-up buyer, somebody that's that is expanding their life and moving from a condo to a house, and that type of a sale does not require as many skill sets as selling in a home that's been inherited.
Yeah.
So, okay, so keep it, rent it, or sell it. I think we answered that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and let's see. And we also answered, don't confuse property taxes with capital gains taxes,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? Okay, let's also talk about out-of-state heirs. What's the best course of action for them? Keep it, move back into it,
So,
or sell it, or have a property management manage it. Um, the good news is you have choices, choices, choices.
yeah.
Right? Okay. Let's also talk about remodeling. A lot of people think that, oh, okay, I just inherited a house. If I remodel it, I'm going to get a lot more money if I turn around and sell it. And my opinion is actually the reverse. Um, a lot of the times, if you sell the property as is, you're going to get a quick sale. You're going to get a lot of interested buyers. You're going to be able to create a bidding war and basically squeeze every penny out of the house that you can. Versus if you want to spend money and fix it up, now with every fix, you're increasing your cost, and with increasing your cost, your pool of buyers may dwindle and shrink and shrink. And then at the end, the question is, do you really make more money, or do you just increase your risk and
Yeah.
having to hold on to the property longer than you would have otherwise held on to?
Yeah.
So my opinion is actually that if you get an inherited property and you have the intention of selling it, then sell it as is rather than fix it up and go
Increase.
through that risk.
Yeah. Yeah. Having to ask for more on the property, basically.
Right. Okay. And so let's talk about things that we should remember, right? You don't automatically inherit your parents' property tax basis. It is important whether or not the property is a owner occupied property.
Mm-hmm.
And you were asking about timeline. You have to move into the property within a year, or otherwise, if you move in after that, then you're running the risk of property tax being increased.
Okay. So I'm guessing selling would have to be probably within that 1 year too.
Um, that's a good question. I don't know about that, but I would suspect that selling would not matter, because selling uh, is different because you're talking about capital gains taxes at that point. You're not talking
Rather,
about property
yeah.
taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Right, right. And also, if you're thinking of renting or selling, run some numbers and see how much the property is really worth, and what's the best course of action before you do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So a lot of planning, I would say, that goes into this. So before you just willy-nilly make a decision, make sure you do your homework. I think that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree. Definitely.
All right, excellent. So let's now get to share our information in case our audience wants to get in touch with us. There is my phone number if you guys want to reach out to me. There is Santiago's phone number if you want to reach out to him. Also, we love to get follows on Instagram, or on Facebook, so that we can engage with you on long-term basis. You can also reach us on our website at pemberleyrealty.com. And Santi, what do you want them to do if they are watching this on YouTube?
Yeah. I mean, if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe so you guys can see all the upcoming videos that we have, our previous ones. We have great information, and special guests that we bring on. So stay tuned.
Absolutely. So thank you everybody for joining us. And if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us, and make it a great day.
Bye, everyone.